Well, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's upload, we're taking a look at my W204 C63 from a POV standpoint. This is my third C63 AMG and the one that I like the most, and we're going to talk about why in today's video. Now, if you guys want a pure German muscle car, this is as good as it gets. It's rear-wheel drive. It's got a naturally aspirated V8. It's 6.2 liter. We'll take a quick look at it here before we get out on the road. So this is the M156. This is also tuned by my friends at Velos Design Works. It's got a full straight pipe exhaust from FI. In stock format, it puts out 451 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. Now it has about 510 horsepower and around the 500 mark for torque as well. I absolutely love this engine, especially the way that it sounds. Now, we haven't done a POV style video on the channel in a while, so I figured we would do one today in the C63. I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's start it up. By far my favorite point with this car, as you guys can see right off the bat here, is that we have an upgraded steering wheel. This is from a 2019 and newer C63. It's in carbon fiber. We have the little LED screen up here as well, and we've also updated the infotainment system, so we have an Android screen here now. Pretty cool. Got some nice features. Definitely looks better than the stock screen. Now, W204 C63 has 3 different driving modes, 4 if you count manual mode. So we got Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and here's manual, and then right there we have launch control. I usually keep it in Sport Plus. That changes just the gearing of the car and also the throttle response. So the first model year for the W204 was 2008 or 2009. It was presented in 2008. The W204 is the first C63 that they built from the ground up. Previous models that were AMGs and C-classes, they were basically normal C-classes with bolt-on parts. This thing is raw. Just listen to that. I just absolutely love driving this car. They don't make them like this anymore. Now, while this is my first W204, I've had 2 W205s, the currently latest generation of the C63. It was a 17 and then also an 18, and I loved those cars, still do. Probably better looking than this car, but this is still my favorite just because it feels so raw. And it's almost as fast as well with the tune. And the downshift. Oh, it's just so nasty. And we got some natural little crackles coming here and there. This car does not have a burble or a fire spitting tune or anything like that. We just got the tune for more power and more torque, and then obviously the exhaust to open up that magnificent 6.2 liter V8. Now, for the next generation C63, AMG has announced that it will not be a V8 anymore. It will not even be a 6-cylinder. It will be a 4-cylinder with hybrid technology, which is why I think this video is even so much more important to make, because in my opinion, it's a disgrace. Now, the new gen, I'm sure it's going to be extremely fast. You know, performance-wise, it's going to be great, but you can't have a C63 without a V8. It's part of its DNA, and I don't really know what the heck they're doing, to be honest with you. This is the first and only gen they made with a naturally aspirated V8, and this is the way this car should be. The muscle car era is dying out. This car is definitely, at least in the AMG lineup, a dying breed. It's just the way it is. Now, the transmission in this gen is the one thing that, you know, you can really tell that this car has some years on it, and it's not as fine-tuned as it is in the current gen C63. So it is a little slow. Downshifts are okay. And when you shift, it's not that it's super slow, but it's not super fast either. So I'll admit, I usually drive it in automatic, unless I just feel like downshifting and listening to the engine, or the exhaust note, I should say. Oh, just pure bliss. Now we have 3 different traction settings. So we currently have traction control fully on. I usually drive it in sport handling mode, which allows for some wheel spin until the computer kind of kicks in and grabs it for you. Obviously a lot later than it would with regular traction control on. So we're gonna turn it completely off. There we go. And then I'm just gonna stomp on it because this car has pretty good grip. Spin there. Now I do have aftermarket wheels with, you know, that are slightly wider, so we got 295 or 285s in the rear compared to the 255s, if I'm not mistaken, that this car came with stock. Now it is a Hoonermobile because it is indeed a muscle car. So if you want some burnouts, all you got to do is some light brake boosting. There we go. I'm just saying, man, I absolutely love driving this car. They don't sound like this anymore, man. Oh, absolutely awesome. I know I'm not the perfect person to do a correct and, you know, in-depth analysis of the driving for a W204 C63, but for me, this car is just so much emotion. And I love NA engines. And I think part of why I love them so much is because I know they're on their way out. Everything is either forced induction turbocharged or it's going electric. And I'm not against electric cars, but I just don't want the combustion engine to, you know, go away completely. Oh, listen to that. Oh, it's so amazing. Now, a good thing about this generation C63 is that it's a little lighter than the W205, so it's slightly better handling car. At least it feels that way from a weight standpoint. Oh, it's just such a joy to drive. Now, if you're somewhat new to this channel and you don't already know, this car right here is the new giveaway car on the channel. And if you've entered the giveaway and you're kind of worried about the rear tires because I just did a little burnout, don't worry, we will be throwing on a new set of rear tires for the car before the new owner takes delivery. Now, if you've been looking for a car like this and you want your chance to win it, all you got to do is go to autoblog.com. Every $5 spent equals 1 entry to win. So like we mentioned earlier, this Gen 63 came out in 2009. In 2012, it had a slight refresh, so a little updated grille up front. The interior was updated as well. You got a stationary screen instead of the flip-up one that was in the earlier model years. Now, like we also mentioned, is that we replaced that screen with this one right here. One issue that the earlier model years had was that head bolts were bad from 2009 up to 2011. By 2012, Mercedes AMG had finally taken care of that problem, so every car that was made after that had the upgraded head bolt. So from what I've heard is that there hasn't really been any issues for owners in regards to head bolts in the M156 V8. Now, my personal opinion has always been that AMGs are pretty much the full package. They have the power, they have the sound, they have the looks. They're also practical because it's a Mercedes. It has some luxury features. You have a trunk. I mean, if you want to take this car on a rally, for instance, you can. You don't need a chase car that drives around with your luggage, unlike if you have a supercar. And the same goes for this generation C63 as well. Now, again, it's 2012, it's a little older, but it has pretty much everything you need. If you want a muscle car, it's that. If you want a luxury car, it's that as well. And if you want the power, it has that too. And if you want the sound, it definitely definitely has that. Now, I wanted to keep this video somewhat short. Like I said, living in this country, you can't really get the full potential of the car unless you want to be extremely illegal, because it is fast. It's got over 500 horsepower. It will do close to at least 200 miles an hour. We just can't do that here. Now, I'm going to mention this because this just happened. We got a bug splash here. See that? One thing I hate, now I think it's a German car thing. It's definitely Mercedes, because my other C63 did the same thing. Look, I'm going to try to wash this off now. See that? The windshield wipers will start before the actual spray. And if this was a big splash, it would have smeared all over the window, and then you would have to spray like the whole tank of windshield washer fluid to get that off. The water should be coming first and the windshield wipers right after. This one main little gripe that I have about this car, and I think it's not just Mercedes, it's a German thing, because my Audi R8 does the exact same thing. So yeah, on that note, weird little ending there, I know. I hope you guys have enjoyed this shorter little POV drive of the W204, the most legendary, in my opinion, C63 that was ever made. Show your appreciation by smashing that like button, and if you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already and you feel like you want to, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Oh yeah, wait, there's one more thing that we have to do. I cannot believe that I almost forgot this. I do apologize. People who follow my channel on the regular, they're probably like, what's wrong with you, Mike? You haven't done a tunnel run. I always do tunnel runs in this car because it is just a boss at it. This is just an underpass, but I know for a fact that a GoPro mic cannot do that sound justice. This car is just absolutely insane in tunnels. And if you're considering a car like this, don't even try to say that, well, I don't like tunnel runs. Of course you do. It's absolutely amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. He is pulling us over. What the hell? I haven't done anything. That is the weirdest thing ever. I am genuinely freaking surprised. I have no idea why he's pulling me over. What the heck? Well, this will be interesting.